It's 3 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling. Your phone says you should be asleep. Your brain says otherwise. You assume something is wrong with you. But the real answer is far stranger. Your ancestors didn't sleep the way you do. They didn't collapse into 8 unbroken hours and wake up to an alarm. Their nights looked completely different. And once you understand why, the way you panic about your own sleep will never feel the same again. Start with the fire. For hundreds of thousands of years, the only thing standing between your ancestors and the dark was a small circle of flame. No walls that locked, no streetlights, no sense of total safety. Sleep in that world was not a switch you flipped off. It was a risk you managed. So the body adapted. It split the night in two. Historian A. Roger E. Kirch spent years digging through diaries, court records, and medical texts from before the industrial era. What he found was strange. People across Europe routinely described a first sleep and a second sleep, with an hour or two of quiet wakefulness in between. They didn't call it insomnia. They called it normal. During that gap, people prayed, talked, had sex, tended the fire, or simply lay in the dark thinking. This wasn't a fluke of old diaries. It showed up in a lab, too. In the 1990s, psychiatrist Thomas Ware ran an experiment that changed how scientists thought about sleep. He placed volunteers in a room with 14 hours of darkness every night. No clocks, no artificial light, nothing to do but rest. No modern schedule, no electric bulbs stretching the day. Within weeks, something shifted. The volunteers stopped sleeping in one long block. Instead, they drifted into a pattern almost identical to what Kirch found in the old records. 4 hours of sleep, a stretch of calm, quiet wakefulness, then 4 more hours of sleep. Their bodies, freed from modern light, reverted to something older, something that felt, to them, unfamiliar. But to their biology, it was home. Here's the part that should stop you. That quiet hour between sleeps wasn't wasted time. Ware's subjects described it as calm, almost meditative. Some researchers now believe this middle-of-the-night stillness once served a purpose your ancestors needed and you don't get anymore. Think about what that hour actually was. No tasks, no screens, no urgency. Just a mind, half-rested, drifting between the day behind it and the day ahead. Some anthropologists suspect this liminal window was where humans processed fear, loss, and memory long before therapy existed. A private, dark hour to sit with your own thoughts. You don't get that anymore. And it might be costing you more than you realize. But the fire wasn't the only thing shaping ancient sleep. The group was, too. Anthropologist Carol Worthman spent years studying sleep across small-scale societies, from families in Kenya to communities in the Egyptian countryside. What she found broke almost every assumption modern sleep science had quietly built. There was no bedtime, no quiet, dark, isolated bedroom. People slept in shared spaces, with fires burning, conversations murmuring, children crying, animals moving nearby. Sleep wasn't a private event behind a closed door. It was communal, loud, interrupted, and still functional. Nobody was tracking 8 hours. Nobody needed to. This raises an uncomfortable question. What if the quiet, isolated, uninterrupted sleep you're chasing every night isn't the ancient ideal at all? What if it's a strange, modern invention your body was never built for? Neuroscientist Jerome Siegel wanted to test that directly. So he studied 3 modern hunter-gatherer and subsistence farming groups, the Hadza in Tanzania, the San in Namibia, and the Tsimane in Bolivia, populations living without electricity, air conditioning, or clocks. If any humans still slept the natural way, it would be them. What he found surprised almost everyone. They didn't sleep more than people in industrialized countries. If anything, they slept slightly less, often under 7 hours a night. They rarely napped. They didn't go to bed at sunset, but hours after it. And they almost never reported insomnia, a word that doesn't cleanly translate into some of their languages, because the concept barely exists for them. Let that sit for a second. The people living closest to how humans lived for millennia aren't sleeping more soundly than you. They're not immune to short nights. What they don't have is the anxiety wrapped around sleep. No dread about the right number of hours. No smartphone glowing with a sleep score, quietly judging them each morning. Maybe that's the real difference, not the sleep itself, the fear around it. Your ancestors woke in the night and assumed nothing was wrong. You wake in the night and assume everything is. They lay in darkness and let their minds wander. You lay in darkness and reach for a screen that convinces your brain it's still daytime. They slept in a world lit only by flame. You sleep in a world lit by notifications at midnight, blue light at 2 a.m., and a mind that never fully believes the day is over. The fire kept your ancestors semi-alert on purpose. It had to. A fully unconscious human, deep in one long, unbroken sleep, was vulnerable. So the body built in stirring, splitting, waking. It wasn't a flaw. It was a survival feature, tuned by generations of nights spent one step away from real danger. You don't face that danger anymore, but your biology hasn't caught up to that fact. It still expects a gap in the middle of the night. It still expects some noise, some movement, some awareness of the world outside your body. When your modern life strips all of that away and replaces it with silence, darkness, and an expectation of 8 flawless hours, your ancient wiring doesn't know what to do with the mismatch. So it produces the exact anxiety you feel at 3 a.m., not because your body is broken, because it's still listening for a fire that isn't there. So what actually changed? Not your biology. Your environment did. Electric light stretched the evening long past sunset. Clocks demanded a single, scheduled block of rest instead of a natural rhythm shaped by darkness. Isolated bedrooms replaced shared, murmuring spaces where the sound of other people breathing once told your nervous system it was safe to let go. Every piece of that ancient system, the fire, the communal noise, the split night, the wandering hour of half-wakeful thought, has quietly disappeared. And in its place is a rigid artificial standard nobody's biology was ever built to meet without friction. That doesn't mean you need to abandon your bed and sleep by a fire, but it does mean the panic is misplaced. The next time you wake at 3 a.m. and your mind starts spiraling about how broken your sleep must be, remember Vare's volunteers quietly drifting into 2-part nights the moment modern light disappeared. Remember Eckhurt's records, filled with ordinary people who saw that gap as normal, even useful. Remember the Hadza, the San, the Tsimane, sleeping shorter, looser nights without ever inventing a word for insomnia. Your ancestors weren't better sleepers. They just weren't afraid of the dark hour in between. It's 3 a.m. again. You're staring at the ceiling. But this time, maybe you understand why. And maybe, for the first time, that quiet hour doesn't feel like a problem to fix. It feels like something your ancestors would recognize. Instantly. Not a broken night. Just an old, familiar rhythm, finally making itself heard. Please like and subscribe to see more.